Chapter 85 of Dragon Ball Super might be Vegeta's lowest point in Dragon Ball history, and for Vegeta, a character that has a multitude of embarrassing moments over the course of decades, this is a massive statement to make. But I promise you, my dear friends, this video will make you rethink Vegeta's lowest moments of all time, and might actually make you feel bad for a fictional character. It all begins with Ultra Ego. In typical disrespectful Vegeta fashion, he attained a new level of power or a new transformation, only to quickly be dispatched. How many examples do you want to illustrate this? Vegeta thinking he became a Super Saiyan against Frieza, only to die later on before Goku becomes a Super Saiyan? Vegeta finally achieving Super Saiyan and surpassing Goku after years of training, only to get clowned by 18 and realize that she was toying with him the entire time. But that's not all. Later on, he becomes Super Vegeta only to get owned and tricked by Cell. Years later, he continues to train and fights head-to-head with Super Saiyan 2 Goku as Majin Vegeta, only to realize that Goku held back the entire time and had Super Saiyan 3. But it doesn't end here. In Dragon Ball Super, Vegeta attained Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, only to get wrecked by Jiren later on and beaten to a pulp, with his only major contribution in that final fight being that he gave Goku the last bit of his energy so that he can take Jiren down, because the plot refuses to allow a Vegeta breakthrough to defeat a major character. And even in Dragon Ball GT, Vegeta attained Super Saiyan 4 by using Bulma's machine, only to realize that neither he or Goku are strong enough to defeat Yi Shenlong, also known in English as Sin Shenron and later on as Omega Shenron. So he has to swallow his pride by doing a silly dance with Goku that directly contradicts his macho attitude. Then, later on after the fusion times out, and later when the machine gets destroyed, he gets beaten helplessly like he always does against all major villains. This time by having his arm impaled in one of the most gruesome ways Dragon Ball ever showed a character being injured. But this time against Gas, Vegeta had already unlocked Ultra Ego earlier against Granola, a brand new form that's perfect for Vegeta turning his pain into power. But unfortunately, Vegeta simply runs out of gas, literally, and faints in the wimpiest way possible. This takes us to reason number 2. The manner in which Goku saved Vegeta in Chapter 85 is nothing short of pathetic for Vegeta. So Vegeta is totally unconscious with his face kissing the ground. Gas comes in to deliver the final blow, and would you guess what happened next? Goku creates a shield to block Gas's attack, like a parent putting on a protective blanket over their child to make sure they're okay. But it gets worse because right after this, Goku lifts up Vegeta like a Jedi using the Force, and floats Vegeta away to safety. This is completely dehumanizing to Vegeta, the way he is essentially carried by Goku like an inanimate object, instead of the classic way of saving a character by grabbing them or pushing them to safety. This method of saving Vegeta gave the vibe of saving a little boy from danger and moving him to safety while the real men get to jump in and fight right after, while Vegeta lays there unconscious, unable to see how pathetic he actually looked. Now this is reminiscent of two scenes from Dragon Ball Z where Vegeta was saved like a helpless child while being defenseless, but interestingly enough, neither of these scenes involve Goku. The first was when Trunks jumped in to save Vegeta against Cell, and although we as the audience were able to see and understand the humiliation that Vegeta went through, he himself couldn't since he was knocked unconscious. And from Trunks' perspective, Trunks felt he was actually stronger than Vegeta, so allowing Vegeta to be beaten near death is showing respect and also contradicting Trunks' own nature that he had to resist. Because if there's one thing that we know about future Trunks, he is the type of character to fight and kill a character on the spot. So for him to patiently wait for Vegeta to be knocked unconscious meant that he was truly swallowing a lot to allow his father's pride to be preserved. Even though this never really made sense, because if Trunks did somehow kill Cell while Vegeta was unconscious, Vegeta would later on wake up and realize that his son was stronger than him, because if Goku and Gohan are training in the Room of Spirit and Time and Vegeta's unconscious, then who the hell killed Cell? He wouldn't have had to have seen Trunks doing it, but he still would have found out the horrible truth. But the better comparison to this moment would be Gohan saving Vegeta from Cell during the Cell games. While Vegeta was easily smacked away by Cell and rendered useless, it didn't look pathetic for Gohan to save him because Gohan and Cell were so much stronger than Vegeta that Gohan had to do something quick and instinctive to save his life. But because Vegeta was conscious of what was going on, he was able to see what Gohan did for him, later on repaying him by distracting Cell, allowing Gohan to fully wipe him out with the father-son Kamehameha. So once again, there was a mutual respect that was gained between Gohan and Vegeta, similar to how Trunks and Vegeta gained respect for each other after all that they had went through. Especially after Vegeta took a major risk to try and avenge Trunks' death against a much stronger opponent. But against Gas, Goku and Vegeta have both trained under gods together. This takes us directly to our biggest point. Goku outperformed Vegeta in battle against Gas with an inferior version of Ultra Instinct, known in English as Ultra Instinct Omen. Earlier on in the Tournament of Power in the Moro arc, Ultra Instinct was exclusive only to Goku. Before that, Goku and Vegeta were both just Super Saiyan Blues when they fought against Frieza. This changed when Goku mixed his Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken against Hit. So as you can see, Goku and Vegeta were following a symmetrical pattern of development. Goku first learned Super Saiyan God and then Super Saiyan Blue. Vegeta too eventually learned Super Saiyan God and utilized it against Zamasu and Broly, showing the similarity of their growth patterns. And for those of you who forgot, just remember that in the Dragon Ball Super manga adaptation, Vegeta showed Super Saiyan God when he was fighting against Zamasu, and he didn't show it in the anime until much later on when he did it against Broly. But things eventually branched out when Vegeta learned Super Saiyan Blue Evolution in contrast to Goku's Ultra Instinct. And later on against Moro, Vegeta trained to use Instant Transmission and figured out how to use Spirit Fission to compensate for Goku training with Mirrors to utilize Ultra Instinct more efficiently. But later on, just like an MMORPG game, the skill tree between Goku and Vegeta went in different directions, with Goku training more like an angel and Vegeta training more like a god of destruction, where the skill tree completely shifted for both characters. But unfortunately, the more we learned about Ultra Ego, the more we realized how flawed of a transformation it actually is. Which also unfortunately means that the Goku-Vegeta gap will continue to widen despite what Dragon Ball Super Superheroes suggest. So Goku pushing Gas into a wild transformation with a lesser form just continues to throw Vegeta down further on the totem pole. And now, the superiority complex between Goku and Vegeta is as big as it's ever been, keeping Vegeta perpetually in that second spot that he will never get out of. And with Gohan's final Gohan transformation and the future of Dragon Ball Super, who's to know that Vegeta might actually eventually fall to third place? But the real question is, what is Vegeta's lowest moment in Dragon Ball history? In reality, there were only 5 moments that really compared to this. Vegeta not being able to defeat Frieza in Resurrection of F, being saved by Trunks against Cell after being tricked, being humiliated by Frieza to the point where he cried, becoming a child's toy to Kid Buu while he needed to survive for a minute just to buy Goku enough time to power up Super Saiyan 3, and the final moment that rivals this video itself: Vegeta losing to Android 18. Now, we will do a separate video just explaining his humiliation against 18 alone, but what really set that event apart is everything that led up to Vegeta's fight against her. Dying against Frieza on Namek, falling behind Trunks and Goku who were Super Saiyans while he was not, and figuring out that he was killed by the androids in the future timeline. Because of these 3 things, Vegeta had the greatest motivation in his life, and trained harder than he ever could at the time. He surpassed Goku and Trunks in terms of strength, even though not by a great margin. He attained Super Saiyan and killed Android 19, who was on the verge of killing Goku, and his mind and ego was on cloud 9 with all of that success. But when it was finally time to fight against the stronger androids, he was shattered, battered, and crushed by Android 18, who was toying with him the whole fight. To work so hard for so little is such a truly fitting dub quote for the moment that was at hand. He wasn't even worth killing to them, and none of his allies were even strong enough to jump in and save him. Trunks was very valiant in his attempt to try and save his father, but he too was defeated with a few blows from the android duo. So for all of these reasons, Vegeta's loss to Gas is worthy of being the second lowest point of Vegeta's life. But the real question is, what moment do you feel is Vegeta's lowest in Dragon Ball history? Either way, if you want more Vegeta related topics, check out the evolution of Vegeta and Goku's rivalry. In addition, you would also like what if Vegeta left Earth, or what if the present androids killed the Z Fighters, most notably Vegeta. And until next time, stay cool and stay safe, my friends.